So real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, no, thank you.
So everybody got that story time for me. So
You got it, you got it.
what I want you to see is, and I just demonstrated it to you, the power of the story. See, if you think that your story doesn't have the power to change a life, you're wrong. The story always has the power to change a life. The question is, do you have the power to deliver the story? So I'm going to give you the power to change the life. It's in this story time formula. Does everybody have a copy of this story time formula? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Sent it to me, that's
Right?
how I know.
I created this. And so I want you to do the first thing. And I want you to listen to what I just said about Danielle. Think about what I said at the presentation yesterday. The first thing in the story time formula, S, is set the scene. Right? Where was Danielle at? No, you missed it.
Oh, yeah.
She was on the street. Did you see how powerful that opening was? Now, what did you get out of that opening after I delivered it? See, because originally when I came out, they were like, what? You were thinking what? What did you do? You see how brilliant that was?
Yeah.
It's like, I looked what? Lost. I looked lost. I just walked out there and I was like a silent opening. And then she said, I was homeless at the age of 13. That's the scene. You set the scene. Your goal, the L, take the listener on a ride. I mean T, sorry. Take it 10 times.
Where did that spelling?
Sorry. I was looking at something.
Where did that spelling come?
T, take the listener on a ride.
Set the scene.
Right? So the S was set the scene. The T was take the listener on a ride. The O, you have to outline the obstacle. They had to know that there was an obstacle. Right? Every story has an obstacle. Every movie has an obstacle. There has to be an obstacle. Right? So you're outlining the obstacle. Now, notice, I did that for the people when I was speaking up there. When I talked about Christina Bramwell, there was an obstacle. That, can you help my daughter? She's been picked on. She's been bullied. We tried dance, gymnastics. We tried everything. And it hasn't worked. And my question for you, Mr. West, is can you help my daughter? Right? The R is during your story, you have to resolve the conflict. Have you ever watched a movie and you're sitting there and at the end of the movie you're like, what? I didn't get it. Because it wasn't resolved in your mind. And so if it's not resolved, you don't get it. You leave the movie like, I didn't get it. At the end, you didn't get it. So whatever the conflict was, you had to resolve it. Now, does it matter, really, on the general sense, the audience, well, does it really matter that Danielle was homeless? No. Does it really matter if someone had mental illness? No. Does it really matter if somebody had 3 children by 3 different fathers? No. So the why? You make the connection. What is it about their story that applies to their story? See? What I said about Christina Bramwell, you know what they were looking for me to be? Is they were looking for me to be the hero. You know what they're looking for you to do as ladies of the links? These children? They're looking for you to be the hero. See, I painted that picture for them. And they all said, oh, yeah. So you have to establish the connection. The next thing you do to make your story impactful. So if I don't know if you saw the documentary Waiting for Superman, right? But there's a gentleman, his name is Jeffrey Canada. Jeffrey Canada is a Harvard graduate. But he said when he was a young boy, he was sitting in his room and his mother came in and she told him this. She said, Jeffrey, there's no Superman. She left and she went out of the room. She came back in, and now Jeffrey was sitting in his room on his bed, and he was crying. And she said, honey, what's wrong? Why are you crying? Are you crying because I just told you that there was no Superman? And he said, no, Mom. I'm not crying because there's no Superman. I'm crying because no one's coming to save us. That if we're going to get out of this situation, we're going to have to do it on our own. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, if we're going to get our community out of this situation, if we're going to get us out of this situation, we're going to have to do it on our what?
On our own.
We're going to have to do it on our own because there is no what?